X-Play. X-Play.
X-Play.
Today on X-Play. Rogues.
I'm gonna pulverize you!
Invisible. And the Yu-Gi-Oh! Spirit Caller. Pay tribute to Ra. It's game time.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Adam Sessler. Morgan Webb.
Prepare to be reviewed.
Prepare to be reviewed. This is X-Play.
Hello and welcome to X-Play.
Our unwavering commitment to quality video games continues on. That's why they call it unwavering.
Today we review Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Spirit Caller, the first handheld Yu-Gi-Oh! Game with online internet play, and Luxor, a puzzle game aesthetically influenced by ancient Egypt and mid-90s Las Vegas. And later in the show we review Rogue Galaxy, a new sci-fi RPG from the makers of Dark Chronicles and Dragon Quest VIII.
But we begin with Arthur and the Invisibles, a game based on an animated feature. I don't really know anything about it because everything I learned was from an interview with Madonna, and it's really difficult to understand her through that accent these days. It makes me really long for 1997, back when she was still pretending to be a Hindu. So you'll just have to figure out what goes on in the movie from our review. Allow me to convey a story you may be acquainted with. A ruthless, greedy landlord looking to buzzkill the domestic bliss of a Depression-esque family unit. A treasure buried by a mystically misplaced granddad. It's all that's needed to remove the hovering fangs of the landlord from the tender throat of the family. And then there's the long shot, poised to embrace a bar mitzvah baptism by fire to save his family's right to live in a dump. And there's Mia Farrow, wondering where yet another child could have gotten to. Arthur and the Invisibles top spins off the less than critically appraised movie of the same name. Arthur plies his gaming side with an upgradable skill set and the ability to switch between the unique abilities of Selenia and Betamesh. Betamesh has a nice little rapid fire attack and shielding. A lot of what you'll encounter in this Arthurian legend is puzzles, many of them involving pushing and pulling stones. These need to be pushed laboriously, which adds to what will seem tiresome even to the weeest of gamer. Your main combat fodder are the heretics. They have a few differing class types. See the guy with the blue chest? He's harder to kill. The combat is reasonably solid. Your characters are endowed with upgradable fighting moves like the ability to remove henchmen's shields, adding an asthmatic's breath of detail to the old melee mindset. There are multiple challenges within combat. For some reason, henchmen are obsessed with stuffing you into cages. That's where you'll rescue companions by wildly manipulating the thumbstick. Don't worry, the game always shows you how it's done. This brings another rolling pin to the title's head. The dialogue within the game is just this side of an autistic talk show in its simplicity. It's hard to imagine the age level it's appealing to.
You look a little like a moof.
It really just adds to a kind of tiresome take on fantasy speak.
It's a mini Moy rune.
It's Peter Pan wonder, lightly seasoned with crackling evil and the plump silliness of cute characters in jeopardy.
This time, you won't get away from me!
The game manages to add moments of depth to the levels. Now and again, a boss shows up, challenging the kids to use both their left and right brain. Platforming is definitely on the menu, teaching kids one of the most important lessons they can learn, besides not to murder things: patience and forethought. Arthur and the Invisibles isn't a bad game if you can get past some of the not-so-polished elements like puzzles slowing down gameplay and lots of overly simplistic cutscenes.
They're starting to get on my nerves.
A kid might just have a good time, especially if they enjoyed the movie. A 3 out of 5. Apparently Finally, Arthur and the Invisibles was directed by Luc Besson, the crazy French guy who made Mila Jovovich famous.
Morgan and I have previously gone on record as being anti-Luc Besson, mostly because of that Joan of Arc movie he made was nearly 3 hours long and sucked for the entirety of that period.
Also, the outfit he put Mila Jovovich in for most of The Fifth Element was highly impractical. If you want to know what a scantily clad woman in an action sequence should look like, here's our preview of Oneechonbara Vortex.
Doo-doo-doo, plugging in my Xbox 360, gonna play some games. Let's see what we have. Hope it doesn't suck. Doodle-doodle-dee. What the? I wasn't supposed to preview softcore Japanese pixel porn today, or was I? No, we're not lying to you. This really is a preview for the Onechanbara Vortex. Sure, you weren't expecting, well, this, but are you complaining? Okay, must focus. Must preview game. The world needs my opinion on showering lady parts. No! Must remain strong. I can do it. D3 is finally bringing the joy of the Onechanbara to the U.S. Literally translated as the young sword-fighting sister, the Onechanbara is this foxy lady. The one tearing up zombies in a bikini and the cowboy hat. Several games into the Onechanbara series, we find our feisty heroine Aya has taken her half-sister and former rival Saki as a roommate and sidekick. But their quiet life of vague lesbian solitude is interrupted, and the two must once again don their trusty swords to rescue mankind. This installment keeps several well-known aspects of the game, from Aya's beloved uniform to the unending legions of the undead. You can tally combo points, which unlock different modes of play, like Super and Bluster. Additionally, there are all sorts of mini-bosses, from bobble-headed alien guy to this blood monster to this meat man. I'll show Aya my meat man. The game also brings back its familiar blood meter that keeps track of your weapon's condition. If your sword gets too covered in blood, it ceases to be an effective weapon against your enemies. You must clean it. If not, your attacks are impaired, and your blade can actually get stuck inside a zombie. Now, I'm sure some of you feminists out there are complaining about how, sure, we've got women slaying the undead and saving the world, but they're still in charge of scrubbing their sword. What more do you want? You already have two unrelated women living together in an apartment. I think that qualifies as a brothel in Massachusetts. Though it's difficult to follow the plot, you know, what with all the foreign language. Here's what we think is happening. Aya's taking a shower. She's a very dirty girl. Uh-oh, zombies are attacking. Time to slash our way through them. Then business suit guy comes. He looks pretty evil. Maybe if we fight him, he'll tell us more about, oh, come on, we just beat this guy. I guess we'll get Aya to fight through the mobs of the undead to save Suki and, oh, snap, someone beat her to it. It's Anna, the go-getting girl with some kind of uniform on. Oh, hey, she's got guns. Cool. That's pretty much all we can figure out. As an added bonus, there is a mini-game you can play during each load screen in which you, as a hideously disfigured Aya, take on loads of poorly rendered versions of Papa Smurf. Well, they're probably zombies, but they sure look like Papa Smurf. And that's the game in a nutshell. It's all coming out later this year, but in the meantime, I'm just gonna slip into something more comfortable and pour my baby a drink. She's expecting me. Aw, yeah.
Girls in bikinis killing zombies. It makes you sad Aaron Spelling isn't around to steal the idea.
Yeah, I just end up putting Shannon Doherty in it. God, that woman's career won't die.
It's true. However bitchy or horrible she may be, the woman has worked consistently since 1989.
Maybe someone should try beheading her career, driving a stake through its heart.
Unfortunately, Tori Spelling sold all of her undead killing steaks at a splashy celebrity garage sale last week. Otherwise, she seemed like just the person to do it.
I hear Perez Hilton went to her splashy celebrity garage sale.
Oh, do tell.
Moments away, the queen of Sedge and B returns to X-Play.
Brought to you by Scion. Check out the Scion XA, XB, and TC at your local Scion dealer. Scion.
Smells like Old Spice and margarine. It's Adam Sessler.
Welcome back to X-Play. A couple of years ago, I picked up this book called Black Athena. It wasn't what I thought it was about. I assumed it was a blaxploitation DVD about a badass female detective from Detroit whose brother gets caught up in drugs and she has to go undercover as a prostitute with a switchblade hidden in her afro. The book wasn't about that. It was also not a DVD. It was a book. One that argued the roots of classical Greek civilization were actually in the black African culture of early Egypt. There was a very brief subplot about heroin dealers working from inside the police department, but other than that, it was pretty dry. But if we're getting excited about ancient African culture, we might as well review Luxor.
What is it about ancient history that we love so much? The epic scope of empires? The stunning works of art? Making fun of Phoenicians? Whatever the reason is, someone must have told it to the guys over at Sony. It's the only possible explanation for Luxor, the Wrath of Set. Here's a simple puzzle game all tarted up with an Egyptian theme. And for what reason? Apparently to hide the fact that it's a puzzle game. Here's the deal. You control a paddle that can move in two directions, left, and as a parade of colored balls passes through a maze above you, you destroy chains of light-colored balls by shooting your own colored balls at them. You are literally busting your balls. But colored balls aren't all you get. As you rack up combo points, you unlock a variety of special balls that help destroy the regular balls. From lightning balls to fireballs, there are just so many balls to choose from. I could go on talking about balls all day, but you're probably saying, enough with the balls already. Fine. It's easy to see how quickly the game becomes repetitive. There are only a finite number of mazes, which are repeated over 100 levels. But the real question here is, what's with the Egyptian theme? Mummies, hieroglyphs, pyramids? Face it, anything's better with an Egyptian theme.
Going to need another 32 seconds on the Lives of the Hickses sketch.
That's funny. We cut 3 papyri worth of material before we gave it to you.
That's a lot. You saying you think the sketch is too long already?
No, I'm saying I think the audience wants to see an 8-minute bit about an obscure cabal of foreign invaders who ruled us over 1,500 years ago.
Sarcasm.
A little. Hi there, ma'am. We're responding to your disturbance call. Are you the baby's mummy?
Yes, I am.
All right, and what seems to be the problem here?
There's no problem here, man. Go home.
No,
Just
he's
go
just
home.
at it again. He does this every year during the OPEC festival. Drinks too much date beer, goes crazy.
All right, sir. I'm gonna have to ask you to put your hands on your head and come with me.
I'm the boss here. I am the morning and the evening star. And so shall I say it, so shall it be. Now get the hell out of my house.
Sir, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to take you. Let's make a break for it. All right, I'm gonna take.
Oh no.
Man, I could watch those mummies all day. And that's the point. Take away everything that's Egyptian about Luxor, and all you have is another decent puzzle game for the PSP. And all that ball busting is only enough to earn Luxor Wrath of Set 2 balls out of 5.
Yummy Mummy was by far the most disgusting of General Mills monster-themed cereals.
For my money, there is no character-themed children's breakfast product that can ever compete with the sweet, sweet taste of C-3POs, the greatest cereal ever produced. Oh, they were a crunchy new force of breakfast in 1983.
I believe that a cereal should pack as much food, energy, and nutrition into every spoonful as possible, and I just personally feel that artificial flavors, colors, and marshmallows are kinds of nutrition we just don't understand yet.
They are vitamin delicious.
In a moment, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Spirit Caller on X-Play.
Hey, it's our friend Bob.
Apple PC Online, a better way to internet.
The Queen of Soul, it's Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. Now, card battle games teach us all important lessons, like no matter how hard you prepare, life is always random. And in order to be the best, you have to pay a lot of money. Or whine at your mom until she pays a lot of money. But to further these lessons, here's our review of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Spirit Caller. Some people find safety in retreating into tedium of daily life. Draw phase, main phase 1, battle phase, meta phase, anaphase, telephase, and that phase in your life that makes you want to scream. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Spirit Caller for the DS revels in the monotony with the same graphics as last year, but with an added twist that might just save the franchise. And with every new Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, we like to bring out our gang of experts, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Gang. What happened to the Yu-Gi-Oh! Gang?
An excellent question indeed. As you know, the gang is now defunct.
No more Yu-Gi-Oh! Gang? But why?
Yu-Gi-Oh! games, as you plebeians say, suck. Some needed to find new creative outlets.
Wolverine! He's the best at what he does, and he's doing it on a card! This is awesome!
I, on the other hand, have returned to my cultural roots, so please continue your review and do so without us.
Wow, I thought you had to read Beckett to find yourself neck deep in, never mind. There are only 2 new aspects of this card game. Spirit Caller introduces, what else? spirits to moderately help you, but often hinder your progress by forcing you to use cards you don't want in the first place. And there's, well, why don't we let the often overlooked and newest member of the Yu-Gi-Oh gang handle this one?
Hi, Morgan.
Yes, Billy, the Pokemon lover who found his way into the gang, one severe beating at a time. Billy, why don't you tell us about the multiplayer mode?
Of course I would. Multiplayer lets you link up with another person to duel. Unlike previous games, you can now play people over the internet, either by their personal code or through a match system. You level up by winning, so no one knows how many games you've lost, only how many you've won.
Fascinating, Billy. Sounds like a game that really brings together the fans, like a community or a town.
A town? I've always said that the Yu-Gi-Oh gang is kind of like a town. Like Pallet Town over in Pokemon. You know, with Professor Ash and Misty and...
Nah, dog, you're wrong.
No, what kind of town is it?
This is Yu-Gi-Oh Town.
Is this the part where you beat me up?
Ah yes, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and Yu-Gi-Oh games still kind of suck. But with Yu-Gi-Oh GX Spirit Caller, there's hope for a brighter, more connected future with online play. And that's why we're giving this game 3 random gang members out of 5.
I was actually an internationally decorated Yu-Gi-Oh champ in the 90s.
He said he could go all the way.
Then this damn wrist of mine gave out and I had to go into early retirement.
He lost all of his frozen burrito endorsements. It's really a tragic story.
It is!
In a moment, Rogue Galaxy on X-Play.
Viewers agree, it's the show for everything you care about.
We're gonna bring you the latest news, oddities, and things that make you go,
yeah.
Attack of the Show, tomorrow at 7 and 11 on
G4 is like that, basically.
Come dancing with Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb.
Welcome back to X-Play. And we here at X-Play, we enjoy conformity.
People being different just causes problems. You have to accommodate their needs and make sure to have a vegan option at your Golden Globes party.
So annoying. That's why we firmly discourage any schismatic activities by anyone, especially the uncooperative astronomical grouping in our next game, Rogue Galaxy.
This is a story inscribed upon one such point of light. A story of heroes.
Yeah, I've heard that one before. Now where's my gigantic talking hologram cat?
Now is the time to lay down our weapons!
That's more like it. Rogue Galaxy is a brand new RPG adventure game that sounds like a Star Wars spin-off.
Don't be ridiculous.
And the story similarities don't help. See, a blonde-haired orphan kid from a desert planet sets off with a cast of lovable rogues to save the universe from an evil empire. At least they don't feature an effeminate android C-3PO ripoff.
Oh, I can't believe how lucky we are.
Okay, that's it. George Lucas should really consider filing a lawsuit, and so should all the people he stole from.
Make sure you get it all on tape.
The game's adventure begins when your hero, Jester Rogue, gets an offer he can't refuse.
Come to our ship, and we'll give you all kinds of sweet jobs.
Of course, what kind of role-playing game would this be without sidekicks? In Rogue Galaxy, you pick up hangers-on with alarming frequency. There's your perky love interest.
That was a close one.
Your lovable scoundrel.
So this is the guy.
Your Native American bikini model.
You keep goofing around, and I'm gonna pulverize you!
And of course, this Scottish armadillo, android thing.
Well now, aren't we the lucky ones?
It's good to see that James Doohan is still getting work, despite being dead.
No kidding!
For the first few hours, this game has a very cool Skies of Arcadia style vibe. The environments are surprisingly detailed, and the handsome cutscenes remind us of Miyazaki films like Laputa and Howl's Moving Castle. Unfortunately, the honeymoon ends quickly.
This isn't good.
Uninspired dungeons are the game's biggest offender. These ugly corridors are so dull and repetitive, you'd think they were randomly generated. But believe it or not, they're premeditated.
This really sucks.
The other buzzkill is the dumbed-down combat system. Most of the fights can be passed by hacking and slashing your enemies to pieces.
Those guys were no challenge at all.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Man, that caught me by surprise.
The script is alternately charming and infuriating. 1 minute you have smart, realistic dialogue.
Hang on just a little longer, GA. We'll go get something to eat soon, okay?
And the next minute you get this.
Oh,
OMG, scary.
You know, the day acronyms like OMG replace actual words, the apocalypse is close at hand. And what's up with the mid-'80s Valley Girl archetype? Yeah, that's a timely caricature.
It's so totally lame.
This RPG came from the developers of Dragon Quest VIII and Dark Cloud, and by no means does it live up to those gems. If only the gameplay was as good as the appealing visuals, we might be looking at the next big role-playing franchise. Sadly, it isn't, and we aren't. Rogue Galaxy gets 3 Scottish armadillo creatures.
Well, knock me down dead with a feather duster.
Out of 5.
Who wants some X-Play replay?
Arthur and the Invisibles got a 3 out of 5 because it's cute, but the puzzles get in the way.
Luxor got a 2 out of 5 because it's boring.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Spirit Caller got a 3 out of 5 for great multiplayer, but everything else was lame.
Rogue Galaxy got a 3 out of 5 for great graphics, but very repetitive dungeons.
And just to keep you on your toes, it's time for video viewer mail.
Hey Morgan and Ed, my name's Andrew from Canada. I want to know what game you guys think has the best soundtrack ever.
Well, hey, Andrew, we actually addressed this issue recently in our musical episode.
We realize the leftist socialist government of Canada probably keeps TV shows like that away from you.
Because they fear unlimited access to splashy Broadway numbers will give you an opportunity to realize the squalor of your own condition and lead to the flowering of freedom.
However, all is not lost. As I understand it, the draconian tyranny of the Right Honourable Stephen Harper, Prime Minister of Canada, has not yet thought to restrict access to the internet.
Good thinking, Morgan.
Thank you.
With the internet, we could actually get the beautiful, life-affirming message of our musical across the beaver fur curtain.
So come to our website, Andrew, where you can see our list of the best soundtracks of all time, and Adam and I with backup dancers.
Yes.
That was X-Play.